Wilkie. He's got such a big smile on his face right now. You can't see it. Let's go to the maps, but trust me, he has. Happy days for the whole Siege community, I think. So what are we expecting here for Fnatic against G2? Are we feeling that, given that G2 are completely undefeated on Coastline, that should, let it through?
Well, I had on my list, I had that Villa would come true, Club would come true, and Bank would come true. So we got the Bank and we got the Villa.
You weren't expecting Coastline either?
No.
I was with the Coastline and the Villa. I think the Villa was the one we agreed on, and we agreed on Oregon not going through because that would really not favor Fnatic.
So the way G2 wants to come to the map ban is to play maps where Fnatic cannot play that random peak style, jumping out of the windows all the time. So they tried to ban maps to deny that. So Oregon, well, you can play Oregon without letting the enemy team to jump on you too much, but I guess they just didn't want to go there. It's their most banned map after all.
Bank was banned 7 times by Fnatic this season, and G2 are undefeated on Bank this season. That doesn't feel... I didn't see that coming in.
I would say it's all about the Fnatic wanting to do the unexpected.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
I think they want to focus on the size of the map. There's a lot of space, especially on your defense. You can get away after an engagement, whereas a lot of other maps you get locked down by G2 very quickly. So Rome, if you go for a hit and run, you'll get 1 kill, but you're never going to get away. Bank can kind of allow for that because it's a lot harder to lock people down on the flanks.
Well, we're going to find out. So this, yeah, I think you're right. I think that's where we're going to kick things off is Bank, and it's going to be this kind of open hunt us down because we're coming for you. It's happening right now. This could be such a phenomenal moment in Rainbow Six Siege history. The Cinderella story is going to come to an end for Fnatic. G2 want that grand final spot. They'd like to lift a Pro League trophy because it's been a while. They got some big trophies at the G2 house, but a Pro League trophy's been eluding them for a while. Fnatic, on the other hand, well, it's all up for grabs and nothing to lose. Emzo and Milos will take us through what we're going to get here between these two giants of esports.
Thank you very much, Matt. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the second semi-final of the day. Before we reveal Operation Wind Bastion, before we head to the grand final, we have to see, will the Cinderella story, as Matt mentioned, will continue? Will it be APAC in the grand final for the first time ever, or will EU return triumphant to the grand final and fight again for their spot against the hometown heroes of FaZe Clan? I'm Bassam Medic Finch, and with me is the ever so illustrious Devin Emzo Becker, and we're getting ready for a smashing match.
Absolutely. It would be interesting to see if the Cinderella story team was the one to get mopped up here, but at the same time, it was a big surprise to see what they did against EG. The difference is, of course, G2 are going to be a lot more prepared for that. Not that EG shouldn't have been prepared. There was a lot of talk ahead of time from the Team Fnatic about what they were going to do, about how they wanted to play, about that they were just going to kind of play it fast and loose. Just showed that it seemed like North America really struggled with that style of play, but I don't think G2 is in such a similar position. However, anything goes this weekend.
All right, well, anything goes. Let's see what goes on Bank. Ladies and gentlemen, our first map of this best of 3 series, we'll head over to Payday. We'll see who takes the map and who takes the cash at the end of this one. Start off the ban phase on Bank, our first map between Fnatic and G2 Esports.
Sure been a lot of Bank this weekend, that's for sure.
Lots of love to Magnet, of course, the IGL and team captain of Fnatic. You're in Australia, Magnet. We miss you. We love you. Hopefully next time you'll be here. Of course, we'll remind you guys that Fnatic are already qualified for 6 Invitational 2019 live in Montreal, Canada at the Laval Rocket Stadium. So very much push you guys to go there and experience it because the crowd here is deafening. It is insane, absolutely roaring. And the Lion won't be roaring on this map. It'll be the first ban. Fnatic will ban the Monty as well the second, but we've seen G2 operating with Monty quite a bit on Bank.
It's definitely something that they were, they kind of pioneered that, honestly. It was one of those things where they showed it in some tournaments and everyone started copying them for a while. Then it started to die off, but we've seen it a bit this tournament as well.
Yeah, they did it 6 Invitational 2018 for the first time. And they're able to play it against against EG on this very same map, and it really got a ton of effect, and even went through with the Monty when playing on Cafe, which used to be in the Pro League meta, and Pulse is going to be banned here, which means defenses downstairs in the basement is going to be a lot more complicated. Since we mentioned it yesterday, that triple or quad stack C4 operator play with the Pulse sitting in Gold Vault, it's not going to really be as viable.
That does mean, of course, that Maestro or Echo would be more useful, but in this case, finally, a game where Echo's not being banned. It has been so common all weekend. Now we finally are going to see Maestro get the axe. That means the Echo, again, that's going to be that much more important. Echo, Valkyrie cameras, things like that are going to make a huge difference on determining when you can go for those plays, especially Maestro's Evil Eye would have been even better because you could see through that smoke. Now you get the two operators that can bring intel that can't see through smoke.
Indeed.
So maybe bulletproof cameras are going to be the thing.
You know the big thing, though, this is something that people that have watched Fnatic throughout their play days during APAC regular season, even in the finals, or at R6 Masters at PAX in Australia, they will see that their time management is not really always on point, which really gets hampered by the fact that there's Echo available, and Kanto Raketti, of course, will be playing the op here. Pengu with a bit of a clash tease, but we'll just switch over to much more standard Castle Aces over to the Zofia. It's interesting as well that the Glass this time will go through because of that Monty ban, because we've seen Glass doing damage, but not so much in the tournament so far.
It's definitely been something that's got banned quite a bit. I mean, Clash itself hasn't been banned quite a bit, but it's still not really being played as often as you would think. Definitely a lot of teams don't really want to deal with it, playing it or having it, but of course that is post-nerf, a situation where now the quick switch is not a factor, and you see how much that changed how the operator plays.
Yeah, and the quick switch, especially on LAN, it's difficult to quantify for people that have not experienced it, but I highly recommend you, if you have few friends when you can play together on LAN, Siege is one of the best things that many, many games do not have anymore. You bring your friends together, you can all play on LAN and custom games with 0 ping pretty much, and the game is completely different. Those quick peeks with the Mira is the reason why Mira does not really get banned as much on LAN, is because you can't do those quick peeks because ping is not a factor.
Yeah, when you used to use the example of shooting C4 out of midair being a thing.
Exactly. A lot of those things that happen because, you know, that's how the internet and, you know, that kind of stuff works. You're more of an expert in that, though.
Yeah, definitely. There's always a delay when you're sending magical messages across the world.
Indeed, magical messages.
Through the ley lines.
We'll see what the magical message of Fnatic is here, but ready for the peak! Damage done to Rizraz. Of course, the MP5 does pitiful damage at range.
Now, normally that's his dock spot we've mentioned a few times before, but hey, just as good here coming out of Echo.
Yeah, it's just having that ACOG on the MP5, and of course with the MP5, you're looking for headshots. If you don't, then you see the damage you do with a couple of bullets that hit Rizraz. That's nothing. You barely tickle the Capitao.
Yeah. Something important to point out, though, is the way he was using that yokai drone to peek for him, which was the smart thing to do, because, of course, they can line up on that door, whereas he has a bit more range to aim across.
Yeah, there's few ways using bulletproof cameras or Maestro cameras to do that, but, of course, with the yokai being invisible, it really does help you. That is very true.
Well, this is a heavy push for Garage here.
It's not your standard type of play, though. Usually, you don't really see this being employed as an entryway into the site, especially when the top floor CEO is your first line of defense. But this definitely allows you to sneak behind your opponents, and they're not really expecting this at all, because really nobody's playing this. But this is one thing that they mentioned. APAC likes to crouch walk a lot, and we saw the damage that Norarengo done.
Absolutely, and they talked earlier about being where the enemy doesn't expect you to be, and that is exactly what they're doing. However, they have yet to find anyone, and Rizraz and Kanto both low from that earlier engagement, not being able to finish each other off.
Rizraz just holding, and he'll find it. Kanto Raketti finally taken down. He had no clue what was going on, as there was no cameras, no information at all being relayed. And that's the Duck Duck Goose that works out for Fnatic. Goga still, we've seen him do so much damage in Janitor in the past. We'll get one. Fabian with a second on the Mira. Habana having used her utility to open up the wall from the back and destroy that Mira window if possible. Lusty will drop, but there you go. All the X-Kairos have been destroyed. The Nitro Cell expended, though, by Goga, just to be sure that nobody will push him in the time that he's clearing out the Kairos.
Well, so far they did manage to catch G2 a little bit by surprise, but it seems like that effect has fallen off. They got the one kill on Kanto, which was a nice revenge kill for the peaks earlier, but they lost too many people, and there goes one more.
Fabian with the headshot. Aces will go down, and that's the Fuser. That is a huge kill here for G2. Wow. But Lusty will find a headshot for Pengu. Goga, though, will find one on Dizzle, leaving Lusty all on his own. Remember, there's a big bet between Fabian and Dizzle for this matchup here between the two players, top players, I guess, at this point for the squads. And Jonas will spray in through the back hallway. Lusty will go down in round 1, convincingly to G2. But I have to commend Fnatic. That early entry strategy, the way they came in behind their opponents, was great. However, they didn't really commit to it fully and follow it up.
Yeah, I mean, they could have done what they did and then attacked from a different angle at the same time. And it was just a timing thing, right? They're playing a little fast and loose. They don't have these strategies as well practiced or anything like that. So it's just going to be a very loose thing. And timing matters even more with that. And of course, that worked against Kanto. But because Goga played smart and moved away from that fire in the janitor closet, the momentum of that attack died down. They didn't have anyone else putting any pressure on any other side. But they still won a few good gunfights in there, that, like the shot Lusty got over the top of that railing. Little picks like that were definitely going to benefit them, but just the overall lack of coordination against G2, just they were talking about that at the analyst desk, being set up to trade each other, all being kind of there to protect each other, makes sure that that style of play doesn't work as effectively. Interesting though that they're going to go from the Finka to the Ying. Now we saw what Aces did with that Ying yesterday, especially on Oregon, running that with the shotgun. Instead, we'll see if he's going to run with the same gun there, but I got to imagine he is, because it was, well, pretty effective even at some of the medium ranges.
Yeah, and really, the shotgun can do quite a bit of damage in ranges you're not really expecting to hit anything, I guess.
Yeah.
We saw the FMG9 being run yesterday by Malket. Remember with KS, and he did a decent chunk of damage with it, even running the Team Liquid skin, which is pretty interesting. But yeah, it's definitely something that in a crutch, in this situation where 1v1, you will have a huge advantage.
Well, you're going to catch your opponent by surprise, but more often than not, also they're going to catch you by surprise, and having that close engagement distance advantage, it works for Smoke very often. Interestingly enough, no Hibana ban, and they're still going to bring Maverick.
Yeah, and I wonder what the strategy is behind the Maverick. Now, the reason why you open most of the hatches here is so you can drop in utility. You don't always use them to drop.
Yeah.
Now, the Maverick allows you to just open big enough holes to drop utility in. But also, he brings a great rifle, a great pistol, stun grenades as well to burn out any ADSs. But here's the thing. 0 ADSs. Brought as, of course, Jaeger is not an operator in play right now.
Yeah, and it wasn't banned like before, so it's just preference here. We're seeing a lot of preference picks, again, like the Maverick instead of Hibana. The upside of doing what you were talking about with the hatches, though, on ones you don't want to drop, is it means those late flank rotates that come up from people like Eunice especially can't use those hatches to drop on you. Oh.
No, I know you want to boost your KDR here, Neo, but don't kill Dizzle. We know he's been doing a ton of work.
Not the way to do it. Although I think it would be a fair bet if it was Shaz versus Dizzle, to be honest.
Yeah, one day we'll have that 5v5 coach. Let's hear it. Yubi, can you hear me?
Team coach.
Maybe we can do that for Invitational. There we go. Hatch is going to be open, as of course, if they're soft hatches, they get destroyed pretty easily, but we didn't think of this. Maybe there will be something in execute towards the gold vault. We sometimes see it, but most of the time, it does not work out.
Yeah, it's definitely something that can only be used once or twice at most. It needs to be a surprise tactic, but this is the team bringing surprise tactics. Unfortunately, the surprise is from Goga and Kanto.
Yeah, they'll get the first 2 kills. Dizzle and Rizraz to go down. Suddenly, Neo Fighter, Aces, and Lusty are the only 3 alive. No damage so far been done to G2 as they continue to rack up the info. 612 being used here by Aces, and unfortunately, the range that he got off of it yesterday will not serve him well.
Big downside, of course, is he died with all 3 Candelas in his pocket.
Indeed, indeed, and that's what he was using correctly yesterday by just popping off 1 Candela at 3 seconds. That's how you time it. If you keep holding the Candela, for guys that don't know, then each tick is 1 second on the timer. It can be shot in the air, but it's very difficult online. But Neofighter will get 1. Pengu and Kenta Raketti to clean it up. That was a very efficient round for G2, and I think they displayed that if we don't need to roam, we'll just stay on the site and they can't do anything against it. They didn't really move anywhere special.
The turtle strategy is working very effectively. I mean, 2 rounds in a row of pretty much them sticking to their guns and getting picks. And we're noticing 2 picks in a row very often from these guys coming out. It seems like that, to me, says good communication about where the attackers are coming from to get ready to make multiple picks in a row like that. Unfortunately for Fnatic, you gotta expect their strategy's not gonna work as well today.
No grip attachment here on the MP5 for Pengu. something to keep in mind is your standard grips, they always give you a bonus. There's
Yeah,
no
we
reason to not.
mentioned it yesterday that, of course, they are playing with default settings and need to change those.
Yeah.
So it is something that they have to remember to do and don't always do.
Yeah, so usually you have your player SSD that you use for your practice time, and as well when you get on stage. Those are all being kept by the admins until they can get them on the stage for the players for their big matches. And hey, if you didn't play the operator and you didn't really save any of their loadouts, then
I really learned that during playing on Team Milosh last time, how long it took to set up all your operators that you might play.
are you going to use that as the excuse?
I wasn't going to, but now I will. No, I did manage to get them all set up, but it is definitely, I share the pain in doing that.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It's Team Milos that won anyways. Even though it was a 1-1, there was a 1-round difference for my squad because, of course, we have Wilkie.
Yeah, team player here.
Yeah, team player. There you go. Thank you very much. So, Jonas is going to help set up this site, and where is he going to find an angle for the black eye? There we go. It's a bit more complicated this spot than you would think, just because of the angle that's gray as well on the top panel. So it kind of contrasts as well with the black eye. You see the setup's already been...
This game never ceases to have new black eye spots.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many objects as well in the game and the map that every single one of them will somehow, in some way, contrast with the colors of the black eye. So obviously, that's where you try to play the mind game. Now, the instant it lights up blue, it kind of makes it a bit...
Yeah, that usually doesn't help so much.
Yeah, so, there you go. Dizzle scouting up top. And in Janitor, he'll spot there's a mirror window. There's a lot of effort being put in here by G2 to hold on to the top floor, at least delay as long as possible. Interesting that Fnatic, they're not bringing your standard buck here. They're going to bring the Ying from above if need be, but also the Jackal and the Sledge, and kill number 1 for Kanto, again using that famed spot with the Yokai spawning everybody, and Rizrez will be the first one to go. The spearhead of your offense is now gone. Remember, Aces is still running the Ying and with a 6-12.
Well, the important thing is, I was going to say Lusty bringing the IQ to be able to spot a lot of these traps, but no, he's down first, but at least traded onto Eunice by Neo.
Cantor Raketti has done so much work, and Neo's ready. We'll find the 2 kills here. Aces, 1 as well, the 6-12. Now Pengu and Fabian. Last 2 alive for the squad. Is there any utility left for them? Well, Fabian will find 1 kill. He does have an impact grenade and some goo mines here to use. He'll impact his way out into Skylight, but the castle barricade's there. Now, if you open up the castle barricade from the outside or inside, whatever, it will reset the barricade into the castle. So there you go, goo mines are gonna get set, and there you go. Armor panel has been refunded, and Pengu will have that back in his inventory. So keep that in mind if you didn't know that. Pengu is just sitting down in the lobby. They're waiting for drones and the information being relayed, but Pengu's ready. Takes a bit of damage, but he falls back and stays alive, burns more time.
Definitely working a little bit here. I'm glad they were able to get the time to reset Neo, because with all those goo mines around, it could have been an easy death by goo mine. You have just enough health to maybe survive a little bit of that, but not too much in engagements here. Pango, having taken a little bit of damage, definitely gonna help as well, but I don't think that really matters too much. Once he gets into a gunfight, he's generally gonna win them if he sees you as well.
Yeah, now the thing is, the drones are taking a while for Fnatic to gain information on the positioning of G2. Is of course, 2v2, when you're running a shotgun, you gotta be very careful about how you do it. Now, do they expect Fabian to be on the top floor here, at least on the stairs? I don't believe so. Fnatic are ready to dive down, but they're unsure of the position of the second player. Aces comes right on in. He doesn't pull out the pistol just yet, as Pengu is still spotted. He moves into the rotation hole, but there's 15 seconds on the clock. Not much here for Fnatic to work with, and Fabian rotating in, he'll find the double kill, and G2 put up an extra round on the board.
Gotta appreciate the patience from both teams, though. Fnatic just trying to be at least patient, thorough, more actually trying to find G2 or make sure they could get into position safely than just running around like maniacs. But we heard yesterday from Dizzle as well, and we could see it pretty clearly in the game against EG, that there was a point where Fnatic started playing a little too serious, getting a little too into their own heads, and they started losing ground to EG. As soon as they were able to bring that back, they were able to change it around to playing their game again. And some of that I credit to the fact that the coach is playing on the team. He doesn't have to call a timeout to be able to say, hey guys, you guys need to just play your game, have fun with it. You guys don't need to take it so seriously. And I do wonder if coming up against a team like G2, you heard Fabian talking earlier about how people are intimidated to come up against this team, and that really might be working against Fnatic right now. While they're here for fun, I got to wonder, after the victory yesterday, they accidentally set a high bar for themselves with expectations for today.
Yeah.
And it's going to be hard to meet that without getting either too serious or just really shaking yourself loose.
It reminds me of Obey during the 6th major when they went through the group stage and we're off for a shaky start and then we're able to get to the quarterfinals and fight their way in, but it's just that bit of lack of experience at a bigger stage, and even though you're very excited, it's just you're not able to move beyond it. But we're still at the very first map. I'll remind you that yesterday, the thing that made Fnatic win really effectively against EG, and yes, they did beat EG if you were living under a rock for the past 24 hours. Well, they played out of their minds and in a very loose configuration. There was little rhyme or reason for a lot of things that were happening, and their callouts were not really based on pure strategy. If you go back and see how Fnatic started at some point playing super defensively, that's when EG started racking up round after round after round against them, especially on Oregon. Well, wasn't the case when they started playing a lot looser, and here on the attack, it just seems like Fnatic are struggling to find an opener, and you see Aces has lost quite a bit of health. He resets in, he's trying to give Astro a run for his money, and a beautiful pick-off. Both mirror windows being shot down, and a lot of angles now opened up for the attack.
Good trade-off in losing that health there. And that's the thing is, like, while Mirror is playable now, it can work against you in situations like that if you're against a good Twitch player. And, well, Aces happens to be that finally jumping off Ying.
Oh, nice frag. Lusty will get the first one using the hatch to his advantage. And, you say it sometimes can work against you. That is very correct. I mean, Mira, the big thing about her is that she molds the entire defense around her setup. And when you're focused so much on those windows and how she plays them, it really can harm you once the Twitch comes in and takes out your windows, because especially for EU and NA, Twitch hasn't really seen a ton of play.
Also, you have to keep in mind, with their playing that very turtle strategy, you need those windows set up to keep that maintained, to kind of set up that fortress, so to speak. And you want to stay inside that. Like you said, you want to set up around that because they've lost those now. They're going to have to play a little bit looser in their defense, play away from their usual spots. That could work on Fnatic, but they're playing too slow now to really capitalize on that.
And that's the problem. That's the same problem that they ran into yesterday. Now, because there's no Maestro or any of those bulletproof cameras, they can't really spot through the smoke. Goga, though, will find it. Lusty goes into trading now. Goga has done so much damage. This very same position in the past. He'll find one more. Jonas from behind with one as well. And Aces, 2v3 advantage for G2, but they're equal in amount of health. Rizraz and is the last two alive, the Zofia and the IQ. And look at the cross angles being held by G2. Is there anybody on the rotation? Is there anybody holding angle against this push? And Cantor Raketti ready. Rizraz is dead. Dizzle will get run out on, and Jonas will find the last one with the Bandit, the MP7. A lot of people ask, why does Jonas always run iron sights on Bandit? Well, look at that.
Yeah.
Beautiful, clear sights that you can really use to your advantage.
I recommend trying it. It was one of those things I was skeptical of. The moment I tried it, you could feel the difference.
Yep.
It's definitely a very nice thing to have, and it is not a case of just the settings being wrong. So nicely done, great round, losing very few members of the team as well. I mean, despite losing those windows, a lot of credit goes over to Goga, but also fault to Fnatic for pushing the exact same way on Janitor Closet. You saw them do the same peak against Goga. You need some utility. Even some flashbangs at that point would have made more of a difference than just wide peaking it. I don't know, it just seems like they're making the same mistakes. They've got to be just too in their rut right now, not really thinking about surprising the enemy. Eunice is going to be the one to actually pull out that surprise. May or may not even get an interrogate this time with how dominant G2 have been so far. I wouldn't be surprised to see that interrogate happen here. And it looks like Lusty actually potentially sticking on the Finka, although he has not confirmed his pick yet.
Yeah, you've seen the amount of work you mentioned that Jonas has done on the Cav, online play and offline, and it still is a moment and a round that haunts North America and EG, especially during their grand final at the Paris Major on this very same map, by the way.
For those who question Goga's skill, 7 kills coming out from him. He's really picked it up a lot this tournament, and I don't question him normally, but he's absolutely showing up this tournament so far.
Yeah, it's not like we're saying this because, he usually doesn't play this good. Look at this entire year.
Yeah.
The only time he really struggled, if you look at statistically as well, it was during 6 Invitational 2018, especially during Grand Final when the first 3 maps he kind of messed around quite a bit. Jonas, a bit of a victory dance there on the cap. It's Carnaval time, it's a bit of a samba. But after that, he was absolutely explosive and support player no matter what. You know, CCC I plant, CCC I kill.
We used to joke about him as being the original Fragmite as well.
And well, there you go. He's just frag everything. This is Fragadelphia 2.0.
Absolutely. Well, hopefully Fnatic can bring it back here because this is one round away from match point already, or map point rather, already. And this is it's not looking great again. I mean, droning, there's nothing wrong with doing that if you want to play fast and loose, but you need to play the fast part, not just the loose part.
Jonas up close here. If you can find the first kill on Neo, he should hear the Jackal moving in, but does Neo spot him again? Because you can use the silent step, you shouldn't be able to detect him, and there you go, he detects the smoke. So this is all a trap that's been set by G2. Jonas is creeping up behind them. He's gonna try to get it done. There you go, he'll go for one. Interrogation again. No, he's gonna use him as bait. Jonas with the shotgun in hand. He's gonna get picked up here by the Zofia. A rare thing to see indeed. Jonas is still alive in the open area admin offense. Still the Spas 15 in hand. They just cannot find the angle on him. Again, he silent stepped his way in this. And can he find it? Yes, he can! Jonas again! Neophyter will go down. Then can he find the kill? No, the Zofia finally takes him out. Rizraz on Jonas, but Fabian with a quick refrag. So much damage done by the Cav. A lot of time being wasted, but Rizraz is still alive. A tiny bit of health still available on the Polish op. Rizraz walking back in, and at least the bonus is you still have your Heart Breacher. The Habana still available, but has she used her utility yet? That's the question. Nope, there you go.
I mean, obviously 3 stuns as well. We're not seeing those stuns come out, and that was something I said earlier. You're just not taking advantage. Whoa, nice try.
Aces moves in and finds the kill on Fabian, threads the needle through the stairs. 2v2 now as Pengu will spray through the wall. They can't find him. Goga will send the call out into Pengu as he gets the kill on Aces. And Rizraz on the floor, cannot sustain and go back up. And Goga finishes him off. Round 5 will go the way of G2, and I think at this point, at least for this first map, Fnatic are going the way of the Dodo.
Well, let's hope that changes up, as this is a roam-friendly map, and they're going to be on defense now. So we'll see if Fnatic can change their pace, maybe try and just play a little. I mean, you got to imagine, after 5 rounds of that, you got to think, what are we doing wrong here? And it's not just, well, you know, G2's better than us. I mean, G2 is a very, very good team, but it's just the way you guys are playing is not what we saw yesterday.
Here's the point, though. I mentioned when you guys saw the Thermite going back up, and Jonas had to kill him instead of going for the interrogation. Not only was he using it as bait, but the Finka used the boost.
Yeah, it's a rare trick.
Not to help the Thermite to get up, because there was a big focus on the stairs to fight, I believe, the Echo that was playing down it before Fabian had rotated back in that position. So I don't know if that was purely off of luck that the Thermite was brought up after it, or was it all timed and perfected and it just happened to net a kill after it? I'm not sure, but I'm gonna give the benefit of the doubt, even though more often than not, that's not, you know, always correct.
The way he was slowly standing up, I was hoping to see his face all of a sudden with the Halloween headgear, just a little zombie mode.
Oh man, all right, Michael Jackson.
Right? Well, not much of a thriller coming out from Fnatic so far, though. But they are going, like I said, on that defense. Ace is probably bringing the shotgun again as well.
Can we go back to the bottom floor, Marcio? You see the setup in the basement by Dizzle. You see that bulletproof camera in the back. Thank you very much, Marcio. What a great observer we have. TV star.
Reminds me a little bit of that double Mira setup we saw sometimes.
Yes, now the best thing about this is not only do you have the Mira to have an angle in, but also you have a bulletproof camera behind it, so you can see if there's a smoke execute coming in. Now you have Blitz, you have Jackal. Both operators, of course, have the smoke, and you can rotate from the back. Dizzle's position as well. You can still chuck a C4 all the way down, and I wonder if these gonna actually use this as a Mira position, because those stairs are pretty tough.
I mean, I like the idea of that, because dealing with the main stairs as a flank is sometimes problematic, and it's not even that someone has to be behind that window, it's just the threat of it that can really slow down an attack and force them to use the garage door instead.
Because you're not sure of what's behind it until you drone it, and more often than not on the attack later seconds in the round, you either have no time or really have no drones because of the quote-unquote drone economy. Big fight here between Fabian and Lusty, and there you go. The Alibi will be the first one to get dropped on this potentially penultimate round.
Well, interesting that they're playing as slow as they are, considering Pengu is bringing Blitz, something we haven't really seen a whole lot of this tournament, except for once or twice. It's definitely been just not as much play as we'd expect from Latin America. Fabian on a roll here.
That's Rizraz down and out. Fabian can, of course, use his blowtorch to open up, but Scantoraghetti to find a kill on Aces. Right now, all advantage for G2, 5v2. with Dizzle Neophyter alive. There's still Nitro Cell available, but double hard breach in, and there you go. You go in for the blitz. Pengu will take you out. Neo will be the one to get removed. No more dog, couldn't save himself, and now he rushes in front of the Mira. Dizzle gets one against Fabian. And Pengu takes out Dizzle, though, 6-0 for G2. One thing to keep in mind, I hope that our great guys at CGG, or Spencer, if he's listening to me, are we keeping track of that Fabian versus Dizzle head-to-head? I would like a scoreline of that at the end of this matchup, because at least we saw in that round, that was a kill for Dizzle. So technically, Fnatic win, right?
Oh, there you go. Well, as much fun as it was to watch Fnatic yesterday, this is more like watching someone slowly and meditatively dismantle a gun and just clean it. It doesn't look like G2 really even breaking the slightest sweat here at the moment, barely even getting killed. But hey, good to see Ace is still laughing. They're still having a good time. Maybe not as good a time as we would have liked, but there's still another map here to go. Unfortunately, Bank was their pick.
Unfortunately, and honestly, I have to go back on this just in the meantime. We're waiting to load into map 2, of course. That'll be Coastline. Now, I have to align myself with our analysis desk between Zeronic, Wilkie, and even Matt on this. Why would you ever play these 3 maps of Bank, Coastline, and Villa against G2? Arguably, their 3 best maps.
Maybe that was the idea.
Honestly, it's not like G2 even showed anything special on those maps. They played super default and relied on their usual, well, we're just adapting throughout the round, which obviously worked out extremely well for them, but that's 6-0, pretty much uncontested. So I have to say, these 3 maps in Bank, Coast, Villa do not make any sense.
Yeah.
Border, Oregon would have been perfect 2 maps for Fnatic to take to even have a shot against G2 at this level. I know there's a lot of hype, but we have to go back down from, you know, our hard tower for just 5 seconds and realize that the gravity of this position. You put yourself in a huge disadvantage. You're riding the high of your win yesterday against EG, which was very special to say the least, but there's something that makes G2 different than the rest. EG were not able to adapt. G2 have shown that they can, even if Immortals gave them a fight for their lives. I have to say, I didn't get to say it yesterday, but kudos to Immortals. They gave G2 a hell of a fight for them to snatch that victory away.
Well, I expect different things going into map 2 because Dizzle's confident now that he's killed the best player in the world.
He is.
He can bring it.
Fabian admitted yesterday that G2 fears no man.
Well,
Dizzle.
Yeah.
That man.
And he proved it, of course.
And he said it, you know, if Fabian says you're the best player in the world, you probably are, right?
Absolutely. He's basically Wikipedia.
All right.
Well,
man.
I do hope that we see a comeback here because I would love to see these guys slaughtered out on Villa, but unfortunately it's not looking likely the way things are going with that. I mean, the analysis desk, you said you agreed with them earlier, but they said no 6-0, 6-0. So far they're half wrong.
Yeah, definitely half wrong. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we'll see if the second half will continue on the same way, or will we see a map 3 between the Titans of G2 and the up-and-comers, the Dreamers of Fnatic. Can they catch the dream, or will it elude them here? We'll see what happens on Coastline. The way to survive, Fnatic versus G2. Yet again, we head to the ban phase. Our second map in the series. Lion will be the first operator to be removed, and G2, of course, going through that ban. Nothing too surprising. Fnatic thinking, do we go and remove the Monty? Do we go in and remove... Well, you don't really need to remove any hard breacher on Coastline. In my opinion, you can even play with no hard breacher in Coastline and it just works fine. If you just want one, pick Hibana. That's more than what you need, in my opinion.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's a case where you don't see that happening too often because, well, usually it's better to ban Glaz and not have to deal with that, really.
Okay.
But, I mean, it'd be interesting to...
All right, what?
They don't want to deal with Pegu with that blitz anymore.
Oh, man.
Shut down. Poor Pegu. Already laughing at that. Maybe he wasn't even planning it. But it would be interesting to see if G2 went with the same style they used for the 6-0 against Supremacy that we saw towards the end of the season. That was a bit more Fnatic style.
I really like how, actually, we were having this breakfast in the morning, and you know, Shas, Dizzle, Jonas, and I were just sitting down and we were talking about all of this game. And it seems like both teams are just super content where they are. And Fnatic are obviously very happy with the way that things have turned out for them here, but they're going to try to give G2 as big of a fight as possible, but they're going to do it in a way that they can enjoy, have some fun, and maybe you can use the same the same mindset you were in yesterday against DG for G2.
I gotta imagine this is actually gonna make it worse for FaZe if G2 come out ahead on this, which is likely, because this is a nice, comfortable warm-up for them that's gonna get them right into the groove for that grand final. And of course, we'll have a little bit of pause with the dev panel between, so it won't be back-to-back. But during that, they could just take the time to get themselves further into the zone.
A reminder, ladies and gentlemen, after this matchup, we'll have a tiny break, and then it's directly on to our reveal panel for Operation Win Bastion. Our Moroccan operators, Nomad and Qaed, are finally coming to Rainbow Six, and I cannot wait for you guys to see what we have in store for what Ubisoft has in store for all of us, and more stuff, more information, more reveals coming right up with the hands and you know, in the face of the very beautiful Justin.
It's almost like this game keeps changing.
Yeah, and honestly, actually, you speak of that. Did you see the video that they played like pretty much after every single game, where they show you the beginning of Rainbow Six in Alpha, and it keeps moving on, patch after patch, tournament after tournament. Ladies and gentlemen, you have no idea how many lives Rainbow Six has made better, has changed for the better. And you know what? Here, even the spectators in Brazil, their lives have been made better after watching this fantastic tournament. In my opinion, the best tournament we have had so far. And any tournament after this will have to really put the pedal to the metal.
And this is a game that was fun in tournament mode with just gray boxes everywhere.
Yes.
In the original prototype, it was still running tournaments then. So strength to strength to strength. The bar, can it get any higher?
It's here, and it's gonna stay alive forever and ever. We'll see Pengu now setting up with the smoke, opening up holes, rotations, and murder holes, as we like to call them. Of course, Neophyter bringing the Blackbeard. This is a powerful operator to have, but also aces again on the Finka. We saw this from FaceClan, actually, having the Finka plus Dokkaebi combo being so effective, because of course, you use your Nano Boost, and that either SMG-12 or CZ-75 have absolutely no recoil. But what's the big thing about playing Coastline? If you're attacking the bottom floor, clear the top, go down. If you're attacking the top floor, clear bottom, then go up. And Kanto Roketti is the first one to get a kill. Rizraz will go down. Fabian, though, peeks into the hallway, and Lusty will find him. The second one is spotted as well inside of the penthouse. They're going to try to run away, but of course the Bearing 9, even with its current patch, is still great when you have a Finka boost.
Yeah, unfortunately the timing wasn't there because it's not as long as it used to be.
And in my opinion, it's a bit of a nerf to the operator compared to a buff when, you know, the grenades were added, because the big deal was the fact that you could get 20 seconds of that, no recoil basically. But I guess Neo will come in, fire through, and Neo, he finds the head. Jonas is on the floor. And where are you at? Kanto Roketti in the back here. VIP taking damage from every single which angle, and we'll go down to Neo again. 4v2, the first round on Coastline. Very much favored for the attacking side of Fnatic. Pengu and Goga on the smoke and the dock respectively. Last two alive. Goga holding the angle. Still has a bulletproof camera that's been used. And Pengu, long barrel in the SMG-11, I guess. Lusty will go down, and there's at least one kill for the squad now. That's a one hard breacher. But again, it's not the most required. Up, he spots one from above. And a bit more damage done here to Aces as he instantly pops Nano Boost. The mud gas canister, the first one will be used from the smoke of Pengu.
I like that to try and use it up through the floor hole, but also provided him cover.
All right, the angle here being held by Goga. Will get the kill on Neo, and he can boost his teammate up here on HP if he needs to, but he'll find another one. Goga going ham. Is that a SASG-12 in the hand of Pengu? Will get the kill on Aces. The 4v2 going back for G2, and no matter what, until the round says it's over, it never is when G2 are in play.
Absolutely, especially with those two left alive. Although I gotta admit, I would have liked to see Fnatic win that round just to put them back in the right mindset, just to get them a little looser, having maybe a little bit more fun with it. But either way, still not a bad start for Fnatic, especially Kanto getting pinned down on that shelf back there. We'll see how things go down from here, though it is definitely far from over, as G2 are only up 1 point on map 2, but they are riding the momentum of 7 straight rounds in a row now.
Yeah, we'll see if they can continue on. Possible 12-0 would be our first 12-0 on LAN. We've had 10-0s in the past. That was back in the day where there was always only 5 rounds.
That's true. That is a minor change in terms of the math.
We did, however, have that conversation with our fellow French caster, Fierce G, And yeah, he remembers the 10-0 that he was dealt back at 6 Invitational 1 on the Xbox days. So yeah, that was a fun memory, to say the least.
Quite the experience, I imagine, for him.
Indeed, indeed. But that aside, we head into round number 2. G2, of course, yet again on the setup. Maestro was banned on our first map. This time it's the Echo, so we'll see Pengu running the operator here. Can destroy the hatches very easily with the Bailiff, as it is, again, one of the big strengths of Maestro. He's actually much more flexible than what you think, and those Evil Eyes, they see through smoke. Now, bottom floor defense, what do? Clear the top floor.
Yeah, absolutely. You need that top-down control. They're not bringing a lot of operators that would normally lend itself to using that top floor control, but that doesn't mean they can't do it, especially if they happen to be running the Ying shotgun.
G2 are actually going to try to spawn peek this one here. We've seen, we're seeing all of them pretty much peeking out for any kill early on. And Fabian has not been able to find anything just yet, as nobody's moved in from the back of the ruins. G2 can just fall back whenever, and we saw G2 utilizing the same strategy, quote-unquote, against Supremacy in the penultimate Playday of Pro League in EU on Playday 13. It's definitely one of the most interesting matches, I want to say, in Pro League history. And you see Fabian in the blue bar, up close on the window. Fabian, G2 in general, not shying away from the aggression. Rizraz, the first one to fall yet again.
Well, now that does give them the freedom to escape and move away from that, but they're definitely going to have to watch out, because the spawn peaks earlier didn't give them any warning that they had to watch windows because no shots were fired. But now they've really got to watch out, and this is going to slow their momentum even more. They need to get inside the building and take control of the room, but Pengu's ready to stop that along with Kanto. Unfortunately, shots, just so many bullets, you could pre-fire that whole door.
Yeah, Pengu just keeps firing. That's one of the bonuses of having 80 rounds in your magazine. Pengu with one more, Fabian with another on aces, and Lustig's last man alive in the VIP lounge. G2 did not stick to the site. They just ran on up and tried to fight from the top floors. They know that's the first place Fnatic will try to go to, and Pengu again spraying in with the LMG. The Alda is the one to clear it, and Lustig will go down. G2, so many rounds now in a row. That is...
Yeah.
They are absolutely dismantling Fnatic 8 rounds in a row.
I feel like they got close enough to losing that first round. They wanted to take advantage of any spawn peaks or anything they could get that round to make sure that they continued that streak, kept that momentum up. Now, they're not a team I don't think that really needs momentum psychologically as much as other teams, but they're certainly going to ride it if they can. They're going to take advantage of that, but they almost ride it into more of a calm state rather than an overexcited, let's just start doing crazy things state, just playing to their strengths. And all of these guys have so much skill in the game, they don't even really need to play a solid strat. They've talked about it before, it's just they know what each other's going to do. They never really have to set it up like, okay, we have to play this strat. It's they could just start playing each of their own individual games and still work that together, because they just know how the other one plays. They know how to react to each other. They know how to play with each other. You saw that double peek, for example, on the bar right there, where one person was getting peeked, takes the shots, gives a moment for the other guy to move on up, and of course the other guy in the bar is going to know to stop shooting, so he can go for that wide peek that Lustig was just not expecting at that point. It's just that level of silent teamwork and communication that doesn't require you to say something to know how to play with each other that makes this pretty much nigh impossible to beat.
Yeah, and really this is something that we were having a conversation of a while ago. It's just a lot of people underestimate how important it is to spend time with your teammates just to get to know them better as personality-wise, because then you can have more faith in them when you're playing. And once you're a stable roster and play together, there's not much really that can break you. And Goga will just go in for the crawl early on, as Spawn Peak's trying to push. Oh no, yet again, Rizraz going down. First of all, it's Fabian yet again getting the frag. Kanto will be lost on the Bandit here, but Fabian is still alive and full health. You'll lose the Ash for the Bandits. Pretty equal trade for both teams.
Yeah, they're definitely in not a terrible position for either of them, but for Fnatic, losing Rizraz early, I would say is more of a pain because, well, he's going to be one of the entry fraggers and one of the better, stronger fraggers, and losing him against a team like G2, that is almost like losing 2 people.
Yeah, he's been deleted 3 rounds in a row.
Yeah, not been great.
Yeah, and early on as well. This is something that can, quote-unquote, be very tilting. It definitely is a thing, a mentality you can put yourself on if you're not really sure of how to deal with your opponents every single time just killing you. And of course, that's the big advantage of that spawn peak. not only just getting the kill, and Pengu here being shocked by Aces as both the drone and the Meister will say hello. Aces finally will lose his drone. Is it enough? No, Pengu's ready, and he kills him outright. Pengu with one more. Dizzle will go down, and Lusty has found one on Jonas. Neo's on the floor trying to break dance here. But Lusty is, again, the last man alive as Neo's on half health, or, you know, pretty much half time to be recovered and picked up on the outside. As Lusty takes down the camera, information's been relayed to Fabian, who's on Cool Vibe stairs. The amount of barbed wire here is just so heavy that you can't really see much or move much in this spot. Lusty going in for the pickup. Is there anybody from G2 side that'll dive? No, not just yet. No, G2 just, they hold off on the pedal.
We're again seeing no utility usage really though. Yeah, the grenades have been used from the sledge, but Lusty always the last one left alive with full utility. Those flashbangs are there for a reason besides clearing ADSs. I think you could use them for a little bit more. And when you're going around so many corners blind, maybe they almost need to take a bit more of it.
What was that?
Okay, he heard me saying he's not using his utility and decided to demonstrate the least useful way to do it.
I've seen a thermite. I've seen Fabian using a thermite charge and a castle barricade. And that is a true thing. I have a screenshot of it on my computer.
That's not as bad as what we just saw.
That's pretty darn bad. There you go. Fabian will go into fire, and Gogo will find the next one on Lusty. Fnatic again are down in 9 rounds in a row for G2. 3 victories away here from a total annihilation. It'll be the biggest one ever in the history of offline playdays for Siege and Pro League.
Well, it seems like whatever high Fnatic was riding on yesterday, it's hitting quite a low in terms of play here. And it just, again, it feels like G2 just calmly dismantling them. Although I gotta imagine getting all that shock drone damage probably put him on a little bit of tilt, but he just stood up and just decimated. I would say he even essentially got 3 kills because he downed one of them as well out of that, just spraying with that Alda. So I mean, what do you even do at this point other than just try and have fun as best as possible? Just say, you know, we probably got 3 rounds left. Let's have a good time. And Dizzle says, okay, that means I play Monty, right?
It really does make sense. Now, what will G2 do? Well, they're going to bring... Wait a second.
All right.
Doc, Rook, and Clash.
So, Shield versus Shield, double ACOG.
So, in the words, though, of Fabian, if you remember our last interview that we had with him on week 14, his whole point was, you know what? If there's 2 shields like that staring at one another, the round will just never end.
Yeah. It definitely could hit that point. I mean, as we talked about earlier, you can't quick switch the same way again, which makes it even more likely that you're just going to be standing there staring, waiting for a teammate. But as we heard earlier, they're usually, if you call for a teammate, as I said, one will arrive, almost like a magic spell. But in this case, because they're playing so close together a lot of the time as well, that definitely factors into it. They're not playing as Turtle as we saw on Bank, which is interesting because this is actually a less roamer-friendly map, but they're playing a little bit more loose because you know what? After the play on Bank, they got to be feeling a lot more confident moving around the map. But we'll see how this Clash play comes out here because we've seen what, for example, Sex Cake will do with that Clash on this map. It's definitely something you don't want to deal with at times. Again, these peaks coming out, this time from Kanto on the Legion. They're just... I mean, why not, right? If you feel like you can get away with it, and at most, when you lose one guy in G2, that's usually not a big problem. So they're just going to keep doing it until, well, they get punished enough to stop.
Well, at least this time around, it's not Rizraz being lost in the first 30 seconds of the round, so that's something. Jonas will have a grenade thrown at him, but again, even if you hit the Clash right in front of her, that shield gives her so much explosive resistance that you'll need technically 3 grenades to even have a chance at taking her out. And you see Dizzle here dropping that shield for a second, and he gets a bullet in the shoulder. It's not that just yet. Jonas will take damage from the window, as he's going to have to stick it in the Hall of Fame. Lusty will go down. Rizraz with 1, but it's Pengu, 1 more on Aces.
There we go. Bumper car time.
Oh my god, there you go. And Jonas will help with that as Pengu comes in, cleans up Dizzle. The fight did not last too long as Goga sprays in to find 1. He takes damage, but he can heal himself. No, he chooses to fight and pulls out the SMG-11 here. Pengu will still fight it again. The Alda will destroy Neofighter, and G2 are giving Fnatic no quarters. 10-0.
Well, I gotta appreciate at least Kanto sacrificing himself at the beginning of the round frequently to make, you know, Fnatic feel a little bit better. Hey, we're killing Kanto. such a good fragger going down early. He's also probably playing a little bit looser than he needs to say the least. And that was a good trade, at least, to get the kill. We're seeing Rizraz manage to pick quite a few during his rounds, but it's never really leading to any kind of landslide against him. But I gotta appreciate that fight there. You saw the melee come out and actually knock the shield of Clash, which wouldn't have been too bad, but of course his friend was standing just outside the bathroom.
Yeah, and of course that's how you do it. Remember, if you want to deal with Clash, you get up close and melee and push her shield away, and then you can drop to the floor or crouch and, you know, oh no, there you go. Thank you very much, Capcan.
Which Spetsnaz upgrader will he stick?
Actually, well, we were talking about this yesterday. Capcan is actually good up. It's very niche. There was a while where on Consulate you could see him played, but then the metagame kind of changed and didn't really allow him to play that.
Honestly, you know what part of it is too, is he's not getting kills most of the time, and since there's nothing displayed in the feed for when he does damage with his traps, you don't see how it works. Like, contrast it with the welcome mats from Frost, right? You know, because you're gonna go to Spectator with someone down, that someone fell into the trap. Whereas Capcan traps, they're almost more like really annoying tickles. They're gonna knock you down a bit on health, but you're not gonna see someone die most of the time, so you can't demonstrate the effectiveness more often than not. So because of that, people see it, they think, maybe it's not that great.
Yeah, and on the contrary, well, more often than not, it'll do a decent chunk of damage, and the minimum, annoy your opponents or at least slow them down.
The time management.
What is Goga doing?
Oh,
he runs all the way out, and he's gonna be detected, but then
still not
back.
punished though. They could pretty much do whatever they want.
Even Jonas did it.
They're having a good time though.
What is this?
Oh no.
It's gonna get thrown out right in the Monte. Neo will go down. Dizzle is gonna eat all the damage, but the shield does not absorb it in that way. It's just a different way that the damage is calculated as a blast in and around the Monte. It protects him, but not really people around him.
Selfish.
It is actually, this was pointed out. I'll give kudos to the person that pointed this out. I was doing this analysis with Kix a while ago, and that is very correct. So kudos to you on Reddit. You did correct me, and I am very, very humbled by you. You know who you are. I don't know who he is.
I won't name names, but you can name yourself.
Smart guy, I don't know.
There is another teammate that was playing behind Monty for a second there, but he actually peeled off to move around and do some droning instead. Instead of face checking with Monty, he said, I'll bring my drone up to help you, but this again is just slow, slow, slow.
Oh, Pengu holding the cross and aces! Instantly going down. The Blackbeard had no time to react. There's still one in the back. Damage done to the the Ash in the back, actually. Rizraz will do the damage, and how is he still even alive? Look at all of these Capcan traps have been set, and Fabian is ready as well to spring his own. Jonas will get one. Rizraz on the drop to turn into 1v2, but he's so low in health, barely alive, and a tickle from Fabian will take him out. Rizraz to go down. Round 5 in the way of G2. They're 11-0 right now. One round away from the first ever 12-0. Yet, one thing's for sure, unwavering focus and no smiles at all.
Yeah.
Not even Shas is smiling.
Smiling's for after the game.
Yes.
For them. It's just, you know, why not try and get the full sweep if you're G2, right? Just play to your tip-top without exerting yourself too much and showing too much, but just play the best individual and team default game you can. And if I'm Fnatic at this point, it's like, you know what, this is possibly our last round. Let's just go all out.
FaZe had to pull out some pretty impressive stops against Norengo in the first semifinal, which kind of exposed a few of their strategies.
Yeah.
However, here, there is none of that being displayed at all.
We might not even see the same maps, and we're unlikely to see Villa, which means it could end up being in the grand final as well, because they're not showing anything on it. And we saw how impactful that was in Paris when they lost it, just clean sweep against them, and then all of a sudden turned around and pretty much did the same thing.
Yeah.
So it's, yeah, you don't want to take them to Villa generally, and if they're not going to show that, then if I'm FaZe, I might consider banning Villa.
Yeah, and even though FaZe are actually not too bad at all on Villa,
Yeah.
they've had good games against on Villa specifically. They've had one at the Paris Major playing against Mocket as well. So
There's quite a bit of Villa at Paris Major.
yeah, so I was expecting a lot more Villa to be played here, but it was more often than not the decider instead of actually being within the regular series.
I mean, honestly, Bank was not played that much during the season as well, and it seemed like that just, I mean, a lot of times you usually see a little bit of reversal of what we see during the season. In terms of maps that are underplayed tend to be played more at the LAN events at the end.
That's what happened.
Not played, but
that's what happened at the Paris Major. It's true, but here it seems like it's a bit different. There you go.
it's a little more gray area.
The team has never won a match 10-0 or 12-0 on PC, specifically, by the way. This is, again, thank you very much to CGG for providing all these cool...
CGG, making sure we stay correct.
Well, I was correct. I said it was
I'm
on
just making
Xbox.
sure, yeah.
There you go. It was on Xbox 10-0, the grand final, where Vitality got pretty much smashed. And Furious G on the other side of this room definitely knows about all of that. But never has it happened in an official match on Pro League finals or major 6 Invitational where it's been a PC 10-0 or 12-0, of course.
I guess G2's breaking the 6-2 curse.
Honestly, right now, this tournament has not ceased to break records. The Aces, again with the FO12, we've seen the amount of damage he can do on that. As, again, I'll remind you, Fnatic are on the defense. Lusty will go in for the drop, and the Blackbeard will get shot down. They run over Goga. Will find one on Rizraz, taking no damage in the meantime. Kenta Roketi trying to use the smoke as bait as well against his opponents in VIP. Double flash going in as Goga is going to get team flashed here. An extra smoke will get thrown in because they haven't cleared VIP just yet. And Aces with the FO12 spray them through the smoke. They'll find the kill on Goga. 4v2 advantage, of course, here for Fnatic, but the headshot's been found. Lusty will get dropped. Flashbang thrown in, though, from the top, the rooftop here into the bathroom. Kenta Roketi low on health, but Aces is finally going to get dropped. Does he find the head in the back of the Maestro? Damage done! Kenta Roketi, he threats the needle! Neophyter lasts alive! Is this how Fnatic go down? A thundering roar! And Jonas and Kanto, the 2 Finns on the squad. They're ready to bring the pain. Neophyter.
Finn seems appropriate.
This is absolutely insane. Kenta Roketi showing why he's the carry rocket, but they're not done just yet. They have more than enough time to reset Kanto, and there you go. Both Finns will be ready. And Neo sets himself up in the Hall of Fame. Are there any drones that these 2 players can use? At least the stim pistol's available.
Well, there's a bulletproof camera as well that I gotta imagine his teammates are using.
UNS goes in for the spot. He fires in and Neo goes down. Ladies and gentlemen, for the first time ever, it's G2 to get to 12-0. Breaking history, breaking records yet again on LAN. And here we are. The grand final has been decided. Your local heroes, FaZe Clan, will face off against the EU Titans of G2.
Well, they had it. I feel like FaZe had a good run. After watching that right now, I'm not sure FaZe are going to be able to do anything to phase this team. You see, they look like they just got off a lunch break, not played a 12-round massacre against Fnatic. But either way,
that was some massacre.
Fnatic, though, I do appreciate that last round especially. Absolutely trying their hardest to try and stop them. But Kanto absolutely showing up after getting, killed quiet a few times in the beginning of the round. You saw the focus on him that time. He's like, no, not like this. We're not going to go in a 6-1. We're going to get the 12-0 record. And we're going to finish this up. Absolutely well done.
But one of the best things about Siege and esports in general, the respect between both teams in victory or in defeat. And here Fnatic are at least happy with their position. Shas lifting Aces. Aces pretty much gives some of the best hugs that you could ever get. And there you go. G2 have warmed up, but they're gonna need so much more to take down FaZe Clan in the grand final. Ladies and gentlemen, that is all from myself and Emzo. The grand final will be brought to you after the panel and the interview now by Intero and Kix. So we'll move it down to Guilherme. He's gonna interview Fabian before or after G2's victory.
That's it, guys. We are here with Fabian after this amazing and historic, unbelievable match. Fabian, first of all, congratulations for the results. And actually, my first question comes from Nask, from Liquid. We were on backstage and he said, ask him, what do they do to be that good?
I mean, this game, unfortunately for Fnatic, they didn't have their main lineup. And we played around that and we didn't do anything super special. We kind of waited them out and let them play aggressive and come into our scopes and then just shoot them when they come. It's very difficult to play against a lineup like that. But in the end, I think that we have a better team, both individually and in strats, so that we can adapt to them. But saying 6-0, 6-0, it doesn't really matter, the score. They weren't their main lineup. Anything can happen.
Yeah, actually, it's the first time that we had even a 10-0 or a 12-0 on Pro League history on PC. And we were seeing that you guys were having fun during the match, but you were really focused on getting the results. You're playing your top game. Was there any moment that you guys changed because of the score and how to play during these maps?
Well, first of all, we didn't show anything new. That was the first objective, kind of, because we felt we would go to the final, and why show off something here in the semis if we feel we're going to win it. So we didn't do anything special. I think we had fun, even if we're focused, but for us, winning is fun.
Okay, and how are you guys preparing to... I have a curiosity that everyone asks on chat. When you guys are playing on stage with such a crowd, can you guys hear anything or feel the sound even with the audio protection?
I mean, we try to zone out. We try to be in our own little booth and do what we feel like, and then we play our game.
Okay, and on the last season, you guys were on the exact same spot. On the finals against a Brazilian team. And on that occasion, you guys lost. How will it be today, and how have you guys prepared for a situation which is similar, but with a different team?
I think us losing at Atlantic City wasn't really a loss. I think that was a major success. We had 5 days of practice together with Counter Raquete. We shouldn't even have been in the final. We should have gone out in the quarters. We made it to the final. We get it in a good game. We had 1 map each that went very heavily on each side, and then border was really close. But I don't think that losing in Atlantic City is going to change anything for us.
And how are you guys preparing? What are you expecting now from the grand finals against FaZe?
We're a lot prepared for FaZe. We have some secrets that they don't know about, and we're going to use them against them.
Okay, and do you have any words for G2 fans and also for the FaZe crowd?
Well, I just hope they enjoy the final. It's going to be a good game.
Thank you, Fabian. Congratulations once again. And that was it, guys. Now we already know that we're going to have FaZe against G2 in the finals. Thanks, Fabian. Thank you, guys.
And there's a little bit of a kind of more serious and somber note hanging over the arena now, as what's something that none of us wanted to say. Really even tried and sort of hoped, oh, it won't be a 6-0, 6-0, right? Yeah, it's not a huge surprise, is it? But Fabian there being very courteous and very polite. He's not taking that as like a record. He's not interested in that first time anybody's done it on PC, because he knows they weren't up against Fnatic. So credit to him there for being courteous like that, but yeah, that wasn't the fun game we hoped it would be.
Well, still, history had been made.
Yeah.
So it was 10-0 the last record. Now it's 12-0. So
there was a 10-0 on Xbox. If you're looking back on it, I'm trying to think how is that stat right. Nobody's ever done it on PC. But 6 Invitational 2017, when we finished the Xbox Pro League and the end of Xbox competitively, Team Vitality went down 10-0 then, and that was brutal, but they took it extremely well. We talked about that before. Let's not worry about that now. Nobody's done it on PC in any of these kind of international games until now. Okay, it's been done. Even Fabian's not going to hold on to that as a stat he's proud of. So they didn't care what Fnatic were going to do. They decided, well, whatever Fnatic are going to do, we're going to let them come to us. And he just summed it up quite simply there by saying, we just wait until we saw them and shot them.
It was a fair strat.
Ultimately, that's the game, isn't it?
Yeah,
it's very, very, very fundamentals.
If you shoot all of them, you win.
Yeah, I think so.
It's a very good basis to start on. But yeah. I think we were kind of expecting them to do exactly this. They don't get tilted. You heard it in the interview. They knew what they were going into. It's hard to play against. You never know with a mixed lineup. Missing a core player, anything can happen. We were probably hoping to see at least 1 or 2 rounds from them, just, put up a bit more of a fight. Because the
crowd wanted it too. They were cheering each of the kills in that final round.
That's Cinderella story died real quick.
Yeah. It was the reality check after all, so.
It just feels a little bit, doesn't it? Everybody wanted a little bit more good news for Fnatic. The final was a stretch too far, of course, but everybody wanted just a little bit of a nod. Dizzle was joking around beforehand saying, I want you to keep track of the stats of how many times he killed Fabian. Not sure he's going to look back on that one and be glad he asked.
Yeah. Well, hopefully Siege.gg will provide us that information.
Well, okay, if you really want to see it, then okay, Dizzle will have it for you.
We'll get it for him.
To be honest, for the next match, we got the final that I would say everyone expected that we will have. So.
And I think it's the final that many people wanted.
Yeah.
Too, right? I mean, obviously, if you're an Evil Geniuses fan, you want Evil Geniuses to be there, and if you're an Immortals fan, then you wanted that team instead of FaZe. Okay, and if you're a Brazilian fan, you probably wanted both of them. But I think FaZe against G2 was the likely outcome out of this. Here are the numbers then, if you want to see what they look like for between Dizzle and G2. He's 1-12 Was it Fabian? That's the important question. If he dropped Fabian, that'll do.
Check the Koga's.
Yeah. So Neophyter comes out on top for Fnatic, but it's all negatives, isn't it? And Fabian put a few of them down. As you can see, Pengu, slightly better KD.
I think the cost value in a game like this is probably a little bit unfair to...
Yeah, but 92% is still...
It's crazy high, yeah.
Dizzle has not 92%.
Koga.
Yep. I know, Gogol. I don't want to say what Dizzle's is.
Together they add up to 100.
Oh, yeah.
Remarkable. No clutches, no plants at all. Yeah, it was just a bodies falling kind of a game. All right, so we had fun with it. We had fun with the Fnatic Cinderella story, but it's over. And they were thrilled to have made it out of the quarterfinals yesterday, so they're not going to feel too much pain from that one. Obviously, yeah, they wanted some more meme potential out of it, and a little bit of a higher placing wouldn't have hurt, but it's done. It's over. Fnatic are out. We can confirm that with the diagram if you would like to see some lines, joining up some words and numbers. There it is. Fnatic are done. So, finals are FaZe against G2, and now that is a tasty encounter. The two best teams here, I think that's beyond question now. No lucky performances getting any of the teams through this bracket. It's been great contests from start to finish over this weekend. FaZe Clan and G2 Esports. Can G2 get that Pro League trophy? Can FaZe Clan get another one for Latin America? Remember, Team Liquid won the previous one over G2. It could be done, and this is the kind of cauldron of fire that Brazil would love to win another Pro League in. Before we do it, it's Operation Wind Bastion time. Your new operators, your new map, and maybe some interesting extras for you, all coming to you next here in Rio from our UB panel, and then the grand final awaits us. We'll crown that champion at the end of today, but you want to know who you're going to be playing with in the new season? That's next.